Go ahead and call me crazy, but I don't want to buy real estate. I don't want to buy a house. I don't want to buy a home. I don't want to buy a real estate investment property. Don't want none of that. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Good morning, everybody. Hope we're doing really good today. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, I'm Justin. I like to talk about dividend investing, income from options, financial independence, and anything else related to money. So if you like money, you should hit this like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. All right. So we're talking about why I won't buy real estate properties. Well, let's start off with the good things about real estate. I do see that real estate is great for building wealth, and you find little studies about 80% of millionaires have rental properties or are invested in real estate. Now, real estate is really great for one reason. Like, you can buy real estate and that's just undervalued. You can buy a house that's cheaper, and you can like turn around right away as soon as all your paperwork is signed and stuff and sell it for a profit. Now with stocks, you can kind of find undervalued stocks, but you can't buy that stock for any cheaper than everybody else in the world. Everyone can buy the same stock for the same price, but you can find deals in real estate that are just like cheaper and then literally turn around and sell them for more money. Like, I don't know, like in a death in the family or some sort of divorce or some sort of special circumstances come up, you find a good deal and you can just buy it for cheaper, turn around right away and sell it. Another thing you can do with real estate is you can renovate it and make it more valuable that way. You can't do that with stocks. Stock price is just going to do what it's going to do, and you have pretty much no input in the performance or the performance of the business or the running of the business. Where a house, you can paint it and you can, do up the yard and make it look nice and renovate the kitchen and stuff to sell it for a higher price than what you got it for. You have cash flow, which just means that, the tenants pay your money, pay your rent, and you have extra money at the end of every month that covers the rent and maintenance and all that stuff. Tenants also pay down the mortgage, which is great. So you're building equity that way. And then you have general price appreciation in the property over time. Add that with the leverage and the tenants paying down your debt and everything. It's a great way to build wealth. Then you have all the tax benefits and all the tax write-offs that you can reinvest. You can like all your maintenance and stuff, and then you like depreciation, and then you're like your 1031 exchange, and that's just like you want to trade your house for a more expensive house, and you don't pay any taxes on those gains. You just like put it into a new house, and you got yourself a better house paid for with the old house that appreciated in value, and you did that tax-free. Those are benefits you don't get with stocks. I think that real estate would be the most accessible way for your average person to become a millionaire. Now, it's easy to become a millionaire in the stock market. You just like invest in your 401k, dollar cost average for 30 years, and you're a millionaire. But the stock market can be intimidating, and people don't think about 30 years into the future. But with real estate, you can run it like a business and build your wealth that way. And it's a very accessible way, especially with like 30-year mortgages and your first-time home buyer mortgages and stuff like that and low down payments. It's very accessible for your average person to invest in real estate and build wealth. But stock market is a little intimidating. You got like income statements and cash flow statements and balance sheets and all these ratios that you don't understand. Can be a bit intimidating, a little daunting at first. So some people don't like to go that route. Instead of investing in real estate, I choose to put my money in dividend paying stocks and I sell options. I find these are much more passive in that, especially with stocks, you put in a little work to figure out what stock you can buy. And then the best thing probably to do is just let those dividends reinvest over years and years. With real estate, it takes a lot of work to find the property. You have to know the area, the location. You got to know whether it's the best house in a bad neighborhood or the worst house in a good neighborhood. You got to understand the cost of maintenance. You got to find a good tenant. Now, you can put a lot of this off onto a property manager, but then you still have to do your diligence on the property manager, and they will have a big impact on the profitability of your property. Stocks, you just kind of buy them and you kind of just forget them. You just let them go, reinvest the dividends, and that's what they do. They're so much more passive than real estate. When investing in stocks with dividends, you have a few choices. You can pick like a company that pays a lower yield but a higher payout ratio, or you can choose a company that has a higher yield. Something like Home Depot has a low yield of 2.15%, but they've been growing that dividend for 20% a year. And once you buy that, you don't have to do anything else to it, and you just collect those dividends. Or you can choose another company with a higher yield like Verizon, whose yield is 4.4%, but they only increase that dividend by about 2% a year. But still, once you do that, you just let that reinvest. And that may not sound too great, but once you add the price appreciation to it, then those returns can really add up. Something like Realty Income, I bought Realty Income in 2009 and it's averaged me 18% a year. McDonald's has averaged me 14% a year. And then American Express has averaged me 22% a year. And that's the time I've been holding them. And there's no guarantee I'm going to average those returns long into the future. But still, I've made good money with these, and I haven't had to do anything besides buy the company in the first place. And I've just let those dividends reinvest ever since then. When I want more income, I sell options. I sell cash secured puts and covered calls. Cash secured put is a promise that I will buy a stock if the price goes down in exchange for, a premium, and I keep that money regardless. In the worst case scenario, the stock price does drop and I have to buy the shares. But I have the cash set aside to buy those shares if I need to. Otherwise, the stock price can go sideways and I keep my money and then my promise expires worthless and then I just move on to the next thing. Same thing if the stock price goes up. Then I just keep that premium I received in the first place and I just go back and I do it again. And then there's the covered call, which is if you have 100 shares of a company, you can make a promise to sell those shares if the stock price goes up. And you get a premium for that. And if the stock goes up a little bit, maybe you don't have to sell those shares. Stock goes sideways, you keep the shares and the premium. And if the stock goes down, you keep the shares and the premium. And this way, it's pretty easy to consistently make above 12% a year in income doing this strategy. For one, you got your cash secured put, and if you do get assigned those shares, then you just sell the covered call against those shares until they get called away. So it's a cycle, and that's why it's called the wheel strategy. Just keep doing it. You sell the cash secured put, gets assigned, sell a covered call, gets assigned, and you start it over again. You just keep making money this way. One big benefit of stocks and options is they're location independent. You don't need to be anywhere to do this. You just need access to the internet. You could even automate this process where you don't need an internet connection for years. You could literally go live on an island with no internet for a year or two if you just just automate it. If you have some sort of passive income, you just let the dividends reinvest. You go to an island for a year or a cave or something and you come out and your money is still growing and still reinvesting. You could kind of do this with real estate, but you do have to understand the location and you got to find the property manager. And if that property manager isn't doing well, then you got to go find another property manager, and you kind of got to know who these property managers are and review them and screen them to make sure they're okay. And so there's a lot more work, location work involved in that. And then sometimes if things get really bad, you might actually have to go there to, the place, the city or whatever, sign documents if you want to sell it. Lots of other things that are involved that you kind of have to know. It's a lot less location independent than investing in stocks and selling options. Another thing is that I have a hard time understanding like the costs associated with something like renovating a kitchen, like tearing it all out or redoing a roof. It's hard to find those estimates, and I'm really not confident in my ability to, and I'm not really confident in the process. Like, I'm not sure if like the contractor is giving me a good price or a bad price. And then things can just go wrong and the price will go up because something changes and something goes wrong, and now I have to pay more for a bigger process, or they found another problem that needs to be fixed. Things like that. I don't like that stuff. That's a big headache for me and brings on a lot of stress, where I feel much more confident and comfortable looking at balance sheets and income statements. Even the option Greeks, I feel I have a much better, I'm much more confident in dealing with option Greeks and understanding how they affect an option price than I do, talking to contractors about renovating something or redoing the roof. So my energy would be better spent and more profitable focusing on my strengths, which would be stocks and options and that. Maybe in the future, if I had children, I'd be more interested in real estate to provide security for them. But for right now, I don't think that real estate benefits me in any way. So if you learned something, or if you're still watching, give this video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And then I want you to go have a good day. All right? Justin out.